motshegare bana ba re mama ba re ke a re gape nna re ba re mmino o botse seraleng ka re ruri tla re diragatseng koloi ya mmino tla mpege tshweni puta mabana ba tshege put us on stage, put us on stage, put us on.
Hello and welcome to On Stage, the show that profiles everything that happens on State Theatre's music stages. Whether it's at the SK, the Malombo, the drama opera, you name it, we will profile it. My name is KEAMOGETSWE MALEFO, and today I'm sitting down with Urban Village. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Let's go by way of introduction, who you are and what instrument or what do you do for the band?
My name is Mangaliso Dlamini.
Okay.
I'm from Meadowlands in Zone 1, and I'm the bass guitarist for the band.
My name is Tubatsi Mpomuloi. I'm also from Soweto. I was born and raised in Orlando West in a place called Pumulong.
Okay.
I'm the singer in the band. I play flute as well.
So he's a flautist?
Yes, flautist, thank you. I had to just put it in there. I'm glad you could pronounce it like that, you know. So I play flute, I play guitar, I write some of the lyrics, and yeah, but my part in the music, I'm the singer.
Okay.
Hello on stage. I am XOLANI, aka MTSHALI. I'm the drummer of the band. I do a little bit of backing vocals. I do also the smiling in the band. Like I'm the guy that's smiling a lot in the band. So yeah.
But I can see it.
Tranquilo.
I can see
we are
it.
here.
Yeah.
Sure, everyone. Hi, I'm LERATO LICHABA,
Yeah.
all the way from Soweto, Mzimhlope. I'm the guitarist in Urban Village Music. Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about Urban Village, you know, the name. Also that you're all from Soweto, which is like a melting pot of, you know, languages, culture, and how has that influenced your sound?
Being part of the multicultural dimension of the space called Soweto has influenced us in many ways because we live with multicultural, diverse people, you know, in the township. So that gave us a lot of dynamics in our music or our outlook on life or how we approach, you know, matters we should write about in our music, you know. So yeah, being from Soweto and being from that space is actually like, you know, it's a glorious blessing, you know, because it's like it's a village on its own in a way.
Let's talk about the name Urban Village. Where did it come from and what was the influence?
Oh, the name Urban Village was influenced by Soweto, basically because Soweto is built by migrant laborers, which were our grandfathers and our forefathers who came to seek for work, in the mines, you know. So they located in Soweto. So we had people coming from Palabora, people coming from KwaZulu-Natal, people coming from the Eastern Cape, people coming from Mozambique, Malawi, you know. So yeah, so the city is built by the villagers at the end of the day. Hence the urban village, you know, sound to it, influence according to the name because of the space, you know, where we stay in Soweto, we literally like 15 kilometers away from the city, you know, that far. So yeah, so it's the village in the urban which was built by the villagers, so it's urban village.
In terms of how you guys create music, how is that creative process? Does somebody write and then somebody contributes to the lyrics, or is it like a collaboration? How is your creative process and how do you go about it?
Well, the creative process is very organic. We don't wake up and we say, you know what, this is what we are going to stick to, right? We can get to rehearsal and Dubati is playing something, maybe looping, whatever, you know, and I might just join in. XOLANI, he would think of a drum line, and then LERATO obviously would solo and put chords to the music. And then once we have sort of like a structure of the music, then we try to see what we are trying to, what we're trying to say in terms of the lyrics and all, and what we are trying to achieve out of that. And then that's where we'll keep on just writing, trying it out, sometimes at performances, and then maybe if it doesn't work, we'll say, okay, right, this part doesn't work, and then we come back and work on it and, you know, redo it. So we can't say that we write a song from start to finish in a day and then we are satisfied with that. Like we go through a lot, you know.
Just to add on what Smang is saying from a writing perspective, you know, just from what LERATO said, you know, with what urban village is, it is, I mean, it's a conversation. It's a space for us as creatives, as musicians, to have a certain conversation, and which is a conversation about rural meets urban, you know, the city and, you know, location, for lack of a better word, where we come from. And also the music is a kind of music that we always want to have a message that also speaks our language, you know, speaks like, I mean, we keep our ears on the ground, our social ills, you know, our achievements, politics, and, you know, but also our music is mostly music that is created as a motivational kind of a space, you know, but it's that conversation. And also we like really think about the conversation to say, like Smanga said, we don't just wake up and say, Kie Pina. It needs to hit, you know, rhythm, LERATO pick up a rhythm and play it. And then I would hear a message that says, you know, lyrically, this says this. Let's speak about a father figure. Let's speak about journeys in the night. Let's speak about Tupina ere, kasi Zulu ere. In the tribe, Mazulu, ayeta dinto so. How do we bring it closer? And then how do we, you know, put these together with the urban, which is the English, the concrete city, and the rural spaces, but still try to maintain, you know, Botubarona, but through a new way of doing things. So therefore, the music is created with that kind of a thinking, not always, because we're always looking for something new, a different way of doing things. But the music is really created around those kind of ideas.
So as we are talking about the music, let's go into the first song that we're going to be hearing and tell us what influenced that one.
So we've selected about 3 songs. The first one is Ubusuku. It's also, you know, we had an opportunity to record an album with a French record label called No Format. And it's been such a very beautiful journey, you know. And we were challenged a lot, you know, when the song was also in English, but it had to change because the story needed to be, you know, they sort of felt it wasn't really as organic, which is an opportunity for us. So then we wrote the song Ngesxhosa.
Okay.
You know, and it's called Ubusuku. Remember, South Africa is a place of 11 official languages. So Malpina Sotho, so this one Ngesxhosa, and it speaks about the night. Now, it's a story about a man who is challenged, and I'll make you just an example. Say, you know, migration. This man is traveling from Zimbabwe. He needs to go through the border. But for him to get through the border into South Africa, he needs to go through Busihu in the night. So this man goes to see his sangoma and consult for his journey to be a fruitful one. And I have an idea for then the sangoma says to him, you need to travel in the night. For in the night, you will be shielded by the moonlight. The hyenas won't really see you. All the those animals that like lions and stuff. The night animals. But if you think about it, over and above jungle, real night, also if you look at it into your own life, when you about to do things, you need to get guidance. And some things you have to do them in the darkness of the night so that you can get somewhere. So the song was composed in that way, and it speaks about this man who goes and consults to his sangoma. Sangoma sa hae se mo bolelle gore tshwanetse o tsamaye ka tsela e so ka nako e itseng so that you can be shielded. And, you know, using like modern instruments like guitars and drums and stuff, we tried to still blend the modern sound with the language, and the rhythm, and, you know, and it sounds like the song is a bit scary-ish if you really listen to it, you know, like the intro part, the changes, in the energy area. Yeah. But yeah, the song really speaks about that, the night, doing things in the night.
Ubusuku.
The night.
The night.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Zimbalwa izimpisi siyakhala ubusuku bufikile nezinkanye zimbalwa izimpisi siyakhala
Welcome back. We're still tuned to On Stage with me, KEAMOGETSWE MALEFO, and we're still chilling with Urban Village and getting to know them better. So, can we chat about COVID and when it happened, it affected artists differently. What was your experience, maybe personally and then also artistically?
Well, first and foremost, I think COVID is one of those things that came from nowhere, and it affected the world in a very detrimental way. But moreover, it affected the artists more because of all things that happened. We are the ones that had to close off our spaces. We're the ones that had to close off meeting points. And art is something which is shared a lot with regards to meeting up, coming here to a place like State Theatre, and it shifted our thinking as well because of it made everything now be more online. So we have to push more programming online, right? Which is not the same really, but it is still a platform which needs to be discussed and opened up to say that we as artists need to also adapt. So we've adapted along with everything that happens. But it was very a detrimental stage because of lockdown. So it means that everyone now needs to go back and seek some sort of ukhaso, right? And now all governments in every other area could actually help their people, right? Or help specifically the art industry, right? And what we have here is that it was not so. So it means that the whole industry actually suffered more than it should have. We have an arts and culture department, which became zero for the artists. And now we're having artists which abroad are doing very well, but in their own country, no one is taking them seriously. And so a thing like COVID to have happened and what it did, although it shifted us for the best, means that we could be multidimensional in pushing things into platforms, but it still affects how we are able to do things because of what we feel as artists. This thing needs to be shared. It is energy. Music is it's about vibrations and energy and emotions. So it needs to be shared. It needs to be felt. And it gets tiring to look at screens.
Yeah.
It gets very tiring to always go at an expensive thing called data.
I hear you.
Yeah. So yeah.
And that's also one of the biggest challenges is that we can have the content online, but so many of our audiences don't have access to the data. So it's still a luxury for a lot of people. So that's a conversation that really has to keep happening. So we find ways to actually make this thing work. Also, just on a personal level, some people said for them, COVID had some sort of reset button. Did it do anything like that for any of you guys? Did you experience some sort of shift or anything like that at the time? Any of you?
Personally, for me, it was such a huge challenge.
Yeah.
It was a massive, personally, and also in my own personal space and
Yeah.
personal life, because obviously as a creative and an artist, this is all I do, full time without anything else. So I'm banking on the gigs, the tours, the work that I need to do, all the programming and all the stuff that I've programmed and the dates that I've set,
Yeah.
And this is going to always obviously affect your rent. It's going to affect, just a school or from a financial point of view, Financially, it really hit me like so much, Even though, we had like sponsors or people who were willing, to give those relief funds over and above our country. I know South Africa, I'd love to say it was a huge fail,
Yeah.
But I got help a lot from abroad, people that I've worked with before. Like, if I don't want to mention names,
Yeah.
because I don't want to promote anyone,
Yeah.
but companies abroad were really helpful, But you can't really bank on that because number two, as a creative and a musician, I needed to get out there and sing. I need to get out there and share this energy because it's a beautiful collaboration between sounds and vibrations, and it's all kept to myself. I can't share it, and I can try do things online, and but I couldn't make that reach that I can do, from a physical or like live kind of a space. So it had its advantages and disadvantages, and then the advantages are quite few because I had learned to do things differently. I'd learned to, and some of the things that I've carried from then into now, it simply shows me that I can do more.
Yeah.
And now there's a bigger platform because now you always want to try things differently so that when this thing happens again, you don't find yourself in the same situation. So it's got its positives and negatives in a way, but I don't know what this new norm will be, but we're gonna have to create this new norm.
Let's talk about this new normal, right? Obviously, I think, as artists, that live feeling is so important because of what you're saying, the exchange of energy and so on. but there also has to be an understanding of that we're moving into a space where there has to be some sort of hybrid, or is there in your thinking, has that actually been thought of, and what is your maybe view on this whole space of moving into this digital era? Not necessarily to say that it's either good or bad, but as we are seeing that it's coming, as an ensemble, what are you guys seeing as making it work for yourselves?
To be honest, we're forced to, you know, that's why we're calling it a new normal. So it needs to become a normal thing. But it shows you that it is quite new, and the adaptability of it is not as easy because of now we're moving into digital platform streams,
Yeah.
right? But it is not the same still in the digital platform streams because
Yeah.
of, even if you look at it worldwide, most artists are even starting to pull out from the digital platforms
Yeah.
because of they're not getting the same what we call
Revenue.
remunerations.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation even now. If you look at what you get from streaming
Yeah.
apps and
not a lot
companies,
of- yeah.
it's not a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, it's quite a scam. And we
Yeah, it is
actually,
true.
you start to wonder, why are we even putting our music like that, or putting our work into such spaces which don't even take you seriously, for example. And they have certain exchanges where you know that there's a couple of millions being shared around with board people, and you're not even sure what exactly is being there because it's just an app. That's all it is. And for us to have the conversation of, we need to refix those form of derivatives, as so they call them, as to how dividends actually fall into artists.
Yeah.
Because we really need to give back what belongs to the artist. Because what's happening now is actually, it's a good thing. I mean, for the fact that being here, someone abroad can actually get to hold my music.
Yeah.
But it's just the way that it's practiced, that it looks like it's not even working even for the artists as well, right? And what we've noticed as well here as the Urban Village, that is, we're moving to those spaces. We need to move to those spaces. We need to progress into the spaces. But what our cry is actually, if you move into those spaces, make sure those spaces are able to give back in the level that we are giving into them.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So, I think that's the whole business of, the business of show business and just you as an artist. I think there's always that big challenge of focusing on doing the actual artistry and actually also just making it financially viable. How do you find the balance? Because specifically when I find like what we term artists who are true to their artistry, it sometimes becomes difficult in the mainstream to actually, find a footing and actually just make a decent living out of it. How have you guys managed? Because I know you guys overseas are doing quite well, but like, how have you guys found that balance? And maybe you can give us advice.
I think mainly on our side, how do we find balance? I think it took a quite, what could I say, a certain reach of discipline we had to get to, as artists, and because most of us, even fathers, actually all of us in the band, yeah. So we've got young daughters. So now the usage of money is no more about beers and just going out. Now we see, we're raising families. So I think how we survived is that we knew that we are growing up. We knew we wanted to sustain more in the arts, so we had to save a little bit of money. Yeah,
And
yeah.
also just to add on that, as the four of us together, we're Urban Village Music. We're a brotherhood. But as individuals, it's the thing of not having all your eggs in one basket. Also like create other spaces and other things that you do. For example, LERATO could be scoring for films, writing songs for short films and stuff like that. XOLANI could be like, renting out PA equipment. Smanga could be doing something else as well, over and above that, but in the same practice of music. So it's a thing of not having just one thing to really fall back on, but also trying to create other things to do, but in the space, of being creative and a musician as well.
To add to that, it's also got to do with being able to collaborate with other people. So it doesn't mean that as Urban Village, like we are stuck here, we can't work with anyone else. Like, like all of us, we all have our own things that we do on the side. But, when the family meeting is called, then, that's when we answer. But basically, it's just the ability to collaborate easily with other artists,
I agree with that. And I'm just going to take it one more step, because with regards to, as Urban Village, we have also sub-arms that were under KEAMOGETSWE,
Yeah.
also under no format. And what we've seen is that all those arms or those people, those brands or those houses have actually helped us into looking into our own prospects into the future. For example, there are some deals that would happen only with them being
The vehicle.
the vehicle. They were steering it because they knew exactly what to do, and they knew exactly that these are the passengers that need to take the thing there. But the partnering up with such people and houses, and there are so many houses that have been there that are established, concerts. There's so much that happens, and all those people. So we need to be always partnering up with all those people that are always saying we are doing something for the artist world, and we'll always partner up with them, always being aware that there's also something being released whenever. But for us, always look for that direction because of, as you just said, if you just try place it on one basket, just the music, just only the streaming or just the performances, every other thing will actually start to fall off.
Yeah, and also it's a thinking that we have. We do not wait for bookings anymore. Like one of those days where you have to sit and wait for someone to call and say, "Hey, I want to book you guys." Not everyone can afford it, but it's a thing of also creating spaces for ourselves in small little places, kokasi, and going to certain townships and saying, "Hey, we've identified this space. Can we do a show with so and so and so and collaborate with artists?" So it's like always creating the space and keeping it alive like that.
Let's talk about the next song and what influenced it.
The next song is called Empty Cassette.
Okay.
Empty Cassette was influenced by the late 80s to early 90s street culture, Johannesburg culture. There used to be a guy selling empty cassettes, go small street, going empty, empty, empty cassette, 2 for 5 rand, empty, empty, so yeah, we took it thus far because how we relate with it is how, especially as young Black children from the township, we're able to carry on our musical languages, through, because we were given an opportunity to redub music on your cassette, unless you didn't have other means to buy an original, which you couldn't because you were still young at that time, So yeah, Empty Cassette is about that. It's basically reliving and reprinting our memories of music in this lifetime.
Empty Cassette. Enjoy. You're still tuned onto On Stage with me, KEAMOGETSWE MALEFO. And before we sign out, let's talk about your documentary. What inspired it? I know it was released last year. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
COVID years, don't worry. we
Yeah,
understand.
hazy.
Yes,
You know, like, okay, so let's talk about it and then tell us a bit about it.
Cool. With regards to the documentary, the no format, the stable that we assigned under, every time they take on a certain artist or as we are as a band, as a group, they actually do a documentary about it.
Okay.
Because then what they do is that they actually take people from across the world. So we need people to understand where you're from. You're from Brazil, from Mali, where you're from. So they said from South Africa.
Yeah.
And now they have to come and look at our aspect as South Africans. And our aspect is always deep down into Soweto.
Yeah,
And
I
so now they have to
actually
look.
watched
And so and we went back into that to actually understand that these people making this music, who are they? What influenced them? And where do they come from? What is their homestead.
Kibo mang, but ay, baya.
Their point of departure.
Thank you. Reference.
Okay, so I'm actually going to ask each and every single one of you what you think is the role of an artist in our time. I'll start with you, Lerato.
Okay, the role of an artist in our time is to liberate the youth.
And you?
The role of an artist of this time is always to be the eyes and ears of what is happening. You're always a documentary. You're like a recording, like a vinyl. So whatever is happening around, you are supposed to record it and also be the one that's sakwayesa. So this is Gamlasbalega. So sakwayesa ukuthi this is what's happening.
Interrogate,
Yeah. So
maybe.
yeah, look at it and say this is what's happening and this is how we look at it. But also kuza ukuthi we're actually speaking to the people, speaking to the hearts of the people. Because what we've seen is that every time there was a song, either from a struggle, there were people that were able to uprise and actually, see it better. And the future generation was able to say that these people were suffering from this because of this song. This was what they were addressing. And that's why addressing social ills is part of a thing that we do as an artist.
Thank you.
Yeah, in my own thinking, my risky mentality.
Yes.
Music is a beautiful collaboration between sounds and vibration. And we all have an equal responsibility to look after one another and the universe as well. So our role as creatives and musicians, painters, designers, sculptors, we have an opportunity to create from a different space and have a conversation, whether sad, whether good, but it is an opportunity for us to spark up those conversations through visuals, through sound, no matter how sad or how beautiful it is, but do it in your own way, a cool way. For us, we do it through sing song, through sound. That is my understanding, and that's my role as a creative as well.
Right.
Mine, to be brief, it's to reflect the times and to inspire those that are still coming, Yeah. So we must just share what's going on now so that, when they get to where we are, they can just, flow easily from that. So, yeah, basically to reflect the times.
And to wrap, what is the last song that we're going to hear and what influenced it?
The last song is actually called Dindi. So Dindi it's about threefold. So the first fold is that Dindi is slang for dark-skinned people. So we used to call them
Lichilaba.
dark-tinted. Dindi.
Yeah. Dindi. Hello.
Dindi. So and that's Dindi, right? So another form of a Dindi is Dindi, which is it's like a weed.
Okay.
Right, so that's why we speak about walking tall and walking pride. So now the whole idea is that we were speaking about Black pride, about being proud in your own skin, and we're anti not being proud of your own skin, no matter what color it is. And that's why we were saying meaning that you need to walk tall, also dindi, meaning that watch out for all the little snares that will actually make you fall along the way, because you understand that being Black is actually a very important thing. I mean, Africa is informed. If you look at the ways of old, you see that this thing was informed. It was never primitive. And every time, that's why even the first pyramids, they were only built once. Still today, we're still trying to understand what they were doing. So, Dindi. The third one is actually another slang. So, the base of 145, which is another way of what we were trying to do. So, we always listen to Matlatini together, whether we're traveling down to Durban, traveling wherever. So, we would always listen to Matlatini. So, we're also trying to pay homage to Matlatini. And also, what happened was that they asked us, what is so common in South African music? And there's a progression called 145. And then if you listen to the bass of the 145, it says Dindi, 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 Dindi. So here we have a threefold, and that's how Dindi actually came about. And that's how it was actually written.
Okay.
Yeah.
From this Dindi, I am signing out saying thank you, and thank you for watching. Good night.
Wimtaga baba, ungapacha ya wena. Gumelu ambele pesulu, wimtaga baba, ungapacha. Gumelu ambele pesulu, wimtaga baba, ungapacha. Gumelu ambele pesulu, wimtaga baba, ungapacha ya wena. Uthanda umbala isikhumba sakho uziqhenye uzikhabise 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 Yebo you talk ten asikubona sithethe Yebo you talk ten asikubona sithethe